on that one.
All right. Here we go. Episode. Oh, yeah, I guess I need to get this.
Yeah, you need your notes.
I got 'em.
Because you
I've done a thing.
You've done a thing. You've done a thing, and this is your podcast. I am support help on this one today.
No. You agree as well as I do.
I agreed with you.
this.
Yes.
Yes.
Matter of fact, whenever you go through a lot of your stuff, I have something over here for you
Oh.
that pertains to this.
Oh, okay. Is this something else to rev me up? Because I'm a little revved up about this.
I mean, it's not going to rev you up, but I wanted to read something to you, but I wanted a good organic reaction.
All right. So you're just going to let me cook, huh? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, fuck, cook, baby. Cook away.
All right. So if you follow our gym page,
Idlewool Fitness.
yeah, on Instagram, you know that last week I ranted pretty much all week. I had got to the point where I'm just tired of hearing the same old excuses over and over and over about why you can't go to the gym, why you can't fix your diet, why you can't do this, why you can't do that.
Well, a lot of your videos are kind of rants, but
Yeah, these were rants that bit.
yeah, they did bite a little harder last week than normal. A lot of your stuff is a rant, but it's like I can't even think of his name now. The Australian dude that's always got his shirt off all the time.
Yeah.
They're funny.
They're funny.
They're very comedic.
These were more
like
roast.
if you get your boo-boo hurt over it, then you're just a snowflake.
Yeah, these were more roast rants. Like just think being at a roast. Like a comedic roast. And so, well, inevitably, I hurt somebody's feelings. Full disclosure, it was more than one. So I did good. I found out about the other ones today.
You want to fill me in?
Yeah, no, I'm fixing to. It was 4 all together. Well, 5, I'm sorry. 5 altogether.
The first one...
Okay, so what really, really set people off, and I am yet to wrap my head around this, and I don't even remember what number video it was in the week because I was just rolling.
I think it was like the third one.
Maybe so. It was the thing about the buffet. The comment was made to me at the gym that, it must be nice to have your genetics because my genetics, this was the person talking, they said, my genetics, I'm predisposed to getting fat because of their genetics. And they were saying it must be nice to have your genetics. And I said,
the person was talking about their genetics makes them fat.
Yeah.
And it must be nice to have your genetics because you're not fat.
No. And
I wished you hadn't hid for the camera for so many years.
I know. Because I was fat.
I would love to just
fat.
I would flood the internet with your big
with my
pictures.
fat tits. But I was fat. I was over 300 pounds. And I told the story before. I didn't know how far over 300 pounds because that scale was doing this. And I was like, fuck that. And I jumped off. So I don't know. Honestly, about 320.
Well, that was me at about 220.
Yeah. I was about 320.
And I sat and cried for an hour. Typical woman.
Well, I got pissed. And I started doing something about it. So anyway, they made that comment. And I was like, look, man. And I told them, I was nice, sitting across the table from them while I was signing somebody up. I was nice. And I just said, look, man, I can look at a cheeseburger and gain 5 pounds. You absolutely cannot distract like that while we're doing it.
Don't get distracted. My shirt was
How can I not get distracted?
unadjusted. It's
How
readjusted
can I not
now.
get distracted? I am. So anyway, where's that? Okay. Yeah. So anyway, I can look at a cheeseburger and gain 5 pounds. You know this. And I have to be super strict and like, this is peak week. We're going into a photo shoot. And
There's the reason why your sports nutrition specialist is in charge of the daily diet and nutrition.
Yes, because if I was in charge of it, it'd be cake and ice cream and like all day, every day. But anyway, so that signing that person up and I was nice to him, and I talked through genetics, and I talked through, look, your genetics are like you're given a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. So I give you a T-shirt, and I make it so you have to wear the T-shirt. But if you're walking down the street and somebody splashes mud on the T-shirt, it is not my responsibility, the one that gave you the T-shirt, to clean the T-shirt. It's your responsibility to clean the T-shirt. So your genetics are like a T-shirt. You get what you get, but then you have to make the most of what you got, right? So, and I actually used that, and he liked it, and anyway. But that got me
something like that in one of your videos.
Yeah, I did. It's been a while, but so that got me kind of going down this rant of excuses that we hear
constantly,
just constant.
And look, we're guilty way back in the day of some of these excuses ourselves.
Yeah, no, we had the same excuses.
Because everybody in my family, almost everybody, I'd say about 90% is diabetic, pre-diabetic, all of them have high blood pressure, and they're on blood pressure meds. Yeah. Most of everybody's overweight or an unhealthy weight.
Yes, all of them.
Some of them I can't say, like Dad's not overweight, but where he holds his body fat,
it's not good.
It's not a good spot. Like it's heart disease.
Yeah.
But he's aware of it.
Yeah, no.
And he tries.
Yes.
But he just can't let go of the way things used to be and the way things are now. I've always eat this way.
Yeah. Yeah, you can eat like an asshole when you're 20 and you can't when you're 60.
It's like I was telling the story on live this morning, talking about how I grew up making boudin with Daddy all the time, and like all the etouffee and stuff, and I love it. I love it. Like I would be stuffing the boudin, take a bite, stuffing the boudin, put a little bit in there. So anyway, well, I mean, it is a sausage. You got to know how to stuff it.
I know how to stuff it.
It's delicate work, because if you don't handle it right, it'll just blow out everywhere.
It just blows.
I'm sorry, I derailed you.
Yep, you did. So anyway, so that got me down this rant road on the excuses, and the one rant, and I said, not horrible things. I thought they was quite funny. I thought they was humorous. I wouldn't have said them if I didn't think they was humorous. And I wouldn't have said them because I'm not psycho if I thought like purposely to hurt people's feelings. I wouldn't have done that. I do that sometimes, but this wasn't one of those times.
No, like even like at the end of the video, you talked about, all jokes aside, blah, 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 same stick,
Let's all get better together.
Make good choices, come down, talk to us, whatever it is.
I say it at the end of every video. Mm-hmm. I mean this from look, this comes from a place of love. I want to see people get better. So come down to the gym. Let's all get better together.
Because we've been there.
Yes.
We've already been where a lot of people are in that circumstance and condition.
Yes.
And we chose not to be the
excuse driven.
Like being a victim of your own story. I mean, you're going to see things that are going to upset you if you're perpetually upset about certain things all the time.
If you're looking to be
triggered, you're going to get triggered. If you're looking to be mad, you're going to get mad. I mean, it's...
So what fired everybody up?
I'll play the video.
Well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it.
When we opened the gym, did not realize that I would run into all these Google PhDs who can't understand why they're obese, not shape. Everybody knows these people. They're the kind of people that hide behind medical sounding advice that they find on Google. Only reason they find this is so they can have excuses to dodge accountability. And the main accountability is you're fat and out of shape because you can't stop shoving shit down your throat. So here we go. My metabolism's slow because of my genetics. The only thing genetic here is your family tradition of going to the all-you-can-eat buffet and taking it as a challenge. Stop blaming your DNA and start blaming the all-you-can-eat buffet that you go to 15 times a week. Here's a good one. I'm pre-diabetic, so I need comfort food to make me feel better. Congratulations, big guy. You're stress eating your way into the diagnosis of a diabetes. And yeah, that comfort you're feeling in that fourth Big Mac that you eat this week isn't healing your soul, it's spiking your glucose faster than a SpaceX rocket ship blast off. There's a point in time in everybody's life where you got to take a look in the mirror and go, God damn, I let myself go. And take some personal accountability for what's going on. Swap the fries for some freaking self-control before your body files bankruptcy. That easy. Stop trying to find any excuse you can that sounds medical so that whenever you tell it to people, they don't look at you and go, oh, you're just fat. There we go, people. Come on. Come to the gym, clean your diet up. Stop making excuses and let's all get better together.
But what fired everybody up was I made a comment. Oh, cry to me about your genetics. But the only thing you're genetically predisposed to is your family history of going to the all-you-can-eat buffet and taking it as a challenge. That is what I said. And wow.
Can I tell a story about Thanksgiving and the slot plate?
Yeah.
I probably need to not
No.
say. Okay.
No. We was at a family function.
I had to leave the table
Yeah.
because I got so sick.
Not of what she was eating.
No,
of what she
it was
eating.
all great food. Yeah. Our families are great cooks, far as Southern cooks go. But let's see if I can get through this as kosherly as possible. So I know it's a Southern thing predominantly, but it's called a slot plate. And most of everybody around has yard dogs, and any scraps that you don't eat does not go in the garbage. Most of us don't have food disposals or any crap like that. Food disposals are four-legged creatures outside in the yard. So Southern families have what's called a slot plate somewhere on the countertop around the sink or around the garbage can. So whatever things you had left over on your plate, you scrape it off on the plate. Everybody scrapes it off on the same plate or the same country crock. Butter, tub, whatever, pot. My grandmother had this old pot that's all it was for. It was burning up. It wasn't good for cooking. But every time we had a big family eating, it was sitting on the stove next to the garbage can. So that way you went by, you raked your slop, put your paper plate in garbage. Now, by the end of the evening or whatever, the slop plate will be food piled on top of food, just pork chops, chicken, mashed potatoes, everything mixed
everything
together.
That's left over.
This person made a plate that legit, by the time he got to the table, looked like a mounded slot plate. Like, I have seen smaller plates at a Chinese buffet than this one.
So, and look, and that was my family, and that's how that person has eaten his entire life, and it shows it.
Entire life. And all I could think, you're already overweight. You're already having all these medical problems. And every time we've ever sat down to eat a meal, your plate constantly looks like this. On top of the fact, I was floored that there was 4 large pans of butter rolls.
Yeah, no. So that's how...
And there was hardly any
yeah,
left.
that's how I was brought up eating, and you, to a certain extent, was brought up not that extreme, but anyway,
when Grandmama was alive, you didn't make a plate like that. You came back.
Well,
now since she has passed,
yes,
some of the relatives have gotten a little bit more relaxed over the years.
But the point is we've been there.
Yes.
And we used all the excuses. We used the excuse of we didn't have time. We used the excuse of we was working too much. We have kids. We hurt, health ailments.
I wore Spanx under my police uniform so my belly flap wouldn't get pinched between my vest and my duty
we had
belt.
all these excuses. And
I don't have one anymore, by the way.
No, you do not. But we didn't let the excuse rule us.
No, because we were also raised not to be victims
of
our own story.
And the people that are upset at me over this, and by the way, I have spoken to all of them at this point.
We'll deal with that later.
Yeah, well, no, they understood that, besides one of them, they understood that maybe they was being a little sensitive. And the last one I talked to, and this is what, and I physically talked to him because he came by the gym. The rest of them was through message. And this is what I told him. He was like, that hit a little close to home. And here's what I told him. I said, good. I said, I'm glad I hurt your feelings. And he looked at me like I slapped him. And I said, I am glad I hurt your feelings. I said, if I have to be the asshole in your story, in your origin story of here is my start to lose weight or to get healthy. Let's just do that. Get healthy. Here's my start. And I started because this asshole named Greg made a video on the internet and said I couldn't blame my genetics anymore. Fine. I will take that gladly. And you know what? When you post the story of you lost 30 pounds in 6 months and you feel better than you've ever felt in your life and you're healthy now and you can do things with your kids or your spouse or your grandkids and you don't have to worry every time you go to the doctor that he's going to look at you and go, hey, dipshit, you're going to die in about a year and a half if you don't make a change. You don't have to worry about that anymore. So if I have to be that asshole, if I have to be the one that spurred you to that, great. Tag me in the story and I will celebrate it every day and twice on Sunday. And I will be happy to tell everybody I was that asshole. Now, I don't think I'm an asshole. I can be, but I don't think I am. I think I'm generally a pleasant person. But the fact that so many people, and I know 5 don't seem like a lot, but the 5 people that it was like, really, guys?
It
really?
was people that we wouldn't expect.
Yeah. And that so many people, and full disclosure, in those other videos, if you'd have told me there was 2 or 3 different other things that you got fired up about,
100%
I'd have been like,
expected on some of those other ones because you were way more. The other videos to me seemed way more ruthless and to use the pretty one's words, very thorny compared to this one. This one I was even laughing when I said it. This one didn't seem as pointed as the others do.
But whatever, they took it that way. And I told him, and I told all of them today, I am tired.
It's an internal problem.
I am tired of seeing the people that are in my circle, that my friends, my family, whatever. I am tired of watching them excuse themselves into an early grave.
And some of these people are some of the same people that when we made changes in our lives and after you and I got together and we continued to make changes in our lives, these are the same people that would come to us and be like, oh my God, you look so great. What are you doing? And we talk to them about what we do and how we do it. And they have asked us to help them multiple times. Mm-hmm. And we have extended our hand after being asked. And it would always be, oh, well, I can't do that. Or I can't, oh, well, let me get back with you because I'm going to have to take care of this first. And then they see us again. They talk about how great we look. What are you doing? Well, I'm still doing the same thing you asked me last time. Well, you look so much better, but you looked good then, but you look so much better now. And I'm going, because I'm being consistent.
It's consistent.
I'm being consistent.
I do not allow myself to have excuses. And you know what? And I'm not going to, and I told all of them, we don't sugarcoat anything. We don't. Because, and I'm not going to sugarcoat this.
We never had anybody sugarcoating for us.
If anybody.
Rich savage parent.
And this is what I told the one guy that came by the gym. Said, if anybody has an excuse, like a valid excuse, it's me. I'm supposed to be in a freaking wheelchair. Mm-hmm. But I do not let that demon of an excuse into my brain.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen some of the other like videos or anything, he has limited functionality from the waist down. All the important parts work the way they're supposed to.
I always say that. The important stuff works.
Well, we wouldn't be able to do our other job if that didn't work.
No, the important stuff works.
So, but that being said, the important stuff works. Whenever he got hurt, he had limited function in his right leg, but whenever he was working at the big box store and re-exasperated or over-exasperated the original injury from the duties that he was forced to carry out there, he lost pretty much all but about 10% functionality and sensation and feeling in his right leg from the knee down. So when you see him walking and he's got this little gimp, that is not a pimp walk. That is him throwing his leg because it's literally dead weight, just flopping it around.
And look, and it's creeped up to about mid-quad. So, but, and that's what I told him. I said, if anybody has, I do, but I don't let that demon in. I just don't. I don't give it a voice. I don't let it out of the cage. I just freaking don't.
And that's a whole nother story of how many arachnoid groups we
I'll get kicked out of.
Have been kicked out of because same thing. They ask us what we do. How did he overcome the pain? He didn't. We still live with it. We just figured out a way to make it manageable. Well, how did you do that? And we start talking about all the things that we did. Well, I can't do that. There's no way that works. And goes back to the original comment. Well, he just doesn't hurt as bad as I do.
It's never as bad. And look, and from the people that sent me the messages, it was literally like they went on the videos and picked out all the excuses and
Listen to the first 30 seconds of it.
And it's like, okay. So while we got to thinking about what we was going to do today, this seemed like a really good idea because you cannot allow your excuses to drive you. You cannot. To define you. You can't.
Okay, while you say that, I've got the thing. This is the time. I knew there would be an opening. I got the thing.
All right.
I got the thing. I come across this today, and when I saw it, and I knew you were wanting to address this because it's current event right now, I knew some door would open, and you'd love it. You'd eat it.
All right.
Okay. So, no one can destroy iron, but its own rust can.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, no one can destroy a person, but his or her own mindset can.
That's awesome. Freaking love that.
I thought you might enjoy that, given the circumstances of it. How some people were like, first off, just let me let you know that basically none of that video pertains to me, but us fat people have our own problems, and a couple of them did, right?
And
well, if it doesn't pertain to you, then why did it trigger you so bad?
Yeah, why'd you get fired up?
What in your life is causing this internal issue to be projected on something by your own definition doesn't pertain to you? But yet it upset you like it was meant for you?
Yeah. And absolutely. When I made those videos, I had nobody in mind at all. It was just an amalgamation of all the excuses we've heard over 11 years of having the gym.
And get ready for it, Buttercups, because there's going to be more videos like this.
Oh, yeah. No, I've already decided. I'm
some people think that they're the only ones. I'm the only one that this hurts. I'm the only one that has this issue. And they are so stuck in their own little bubble, in their own little world, wanting to be catered to, that they forget that there's billions of people in the world. Yeah. You're not the only one. You're the only person of you, but you're not the only one
that's going through issues. With
the same issues. Now, there's going to be differences, but you're not the only one that's got high blood pressure. You're not the only one that's obese. You're not the only one that has trouble breathing when they put their shoes on. You're not the only one that's an emotional eater.
You want to hear how you're not the only one? I pulled these numbers off of the CDC website.
Ooh, statistics. I love statistics.
So, this is as of 2023. You're not the only one that is obese and having problems. So, as of 2023, adults aged 20 and older, 40.3% of the U.S. population are obese. Men, 39.3%, women, 41.4%. Now, that's from 2023. If you've been to fucking Walmart anytime in the last 2 years, you'll see it's more than 4 out of every 10 people are obese. It's more like 6 out of every 10 people.
Walmart after dark.
So, but these are from 2023. This was the last numbers I could find. Ages 20 to 39, 35.5% of the people are obese. Basically 38% men, 33% women. Ages 40 to 59, 46% of the people are obese. 42% men, 49% women. Ages 60 and older, it's 38%, 37% men, 40% women. Now, severe obesity, and this is from the CDC, not from me or her. So,
we didn't pull these out from the dark side, ladies and gentlemen.
exactly. Severe obesity is more prevalent among women than men across age groups. And severe obesity, they rank anybody that they have a BMI down here, but BMI, whatever, but it's basically anybody that's over 350 pounds. It's 6% in men, 12% in women, and they break it down by age. Now, obesity in children, this is ages 2 to 19. And the only numbers they had was up to 2020, so it's a little bit off. So basically 19.7% of children are considered severely obese. That's around 15 million children in the United States. Where do you think they're learning that? And it breaks it down some more.
Did you ever pull the stats differences from that now
Yeah,
to
like 1920.
before they started doing all of the pre-processed foods?
Let me find it. Give me a second.
All of your little feel-good foods, your little Debbie cakes. What's another one? Your mac and cheese, the little single serves are in the box. What else? Cereals. Cereals are the worst.
Okay. The U.S. obesity prevalence, I went back to 1900, but there's really no data. From 1900 to 2023, the data really starts about 1960. And this is with the introduction of ultra-processed foods. So, and there is a graph, and she will post it.
Which a lot of people don't realize that a lot of the preservatives they use in ultra-processed foods are agents that shouldn't even be consumed. But for whatever reason, our FDA and our health organizations are allowing these chemicals in our foods. Just to put one example, if you like crunchy cereal, the primary agent that keeps it crispy and not getting soggy in milk is in the same primary ingredient in Drano to clear your pipes. So I have celiacs. If y'all want to eat that and some of these other influencers want to talk about within moderation, then fine. Put that poison in your body. I know I'm sitting here drinking a Monster. I have a couple of things that the few little things, but I check the ingredients list and the cleanest that I can eat within what we can buy pre-made that we don't make ourselves.
All right, so this is an explanation of the chart, and she'll post the chart so we can see it. But from 1900 to 1976, obesity rates, and I'm just going to read this right off the thing. Obesity rates were low and stable. Adult prevalence grew slowly.
He's got him fired up.
from 1900 to 1976, and child prevalence grew along the same rate, about 1% a year, or a little less than 1% a year. But with the rise of ultra-processed foods, which became widely available in 1978, driven by corn substitutes, which high fructose corn syrup, and the 1977 dietary goals promoting low-fat, high-carb diets, which, yeah, the dietary impact, basically from 1976 on, America's sweetener intake increased from 124 pounds a year to 154 pounds a year. Ultra-processed foods now account for more than 60% of the U.S. caloric intake. Fast food culture, larger portion size, reduced physical activity amplified the trend. So basically, if you look at it, from 1978 to 2025, it goes. Ultra-processed foods go up, the obesity rate goes up.
And they meet.
And they meet. So, look, there's a lot of things that cause the obesity problem now. Ultra-processed foods is one of them. The other thing is we live in a society, and this is getting back to what we're talking about today, excuses. We live in a society now.
We're hand-fed everything.
Yes.
And there's more people sitting around not doing a whole lot of nothing versus walking to work, working in a field, you know, just day-to-day activities.
And the thing, like cell phones, the access to information,
as we sit here doing a podcast.
Yeah, has brought this to the forefront because now somebody that uses nothing but excuses in their lives, nothing but excuses, why they can't do whatever, you name it. They get validation from other people. The whole, you got this, I love you the way you are, you look good, the body positivity movement has been garbage. Hey, Hollywood and your body positivity movement, that was great until Ozempic come along. Now you assholes got Ozempic face and you all look like skeletons and scarecrows. What happened to body positivity?
Think about Izzo and all of her drama about wanting her dancers and all look a certain way, and she was shaming them and everything else, and you know, talking about how big is beautiful and all that. And now,
you don't even recognize her.
How many pounds has she lost now?
She's lost at least 4 people, at least. Like, you don't even recognize her.
But she was so happy with what she looked like. The deal?
And so as soon as Ozempic, as soon as the easy button comes along, they're all on top of that. Let's go. You don't hear about body positivity no more because these dipshits all are Ozempic'd out the gills.
Kelly Osbourne said if you see this, first off, I do love you and your family. Y'all are awesome. But this irked me on this, and I'm not one of those crazy people where I'm not doing that. But I will voice my opinion here because this is my platform. So she said something on one of the shows that just irked the shit out of me. And they were talking about Ozempic, and I think she was asking them, and it's been a while back, so I'm not clear on all the details, but I remember the statement. She made a statement about taking Ozempic, and she was like, well, why would you want to do anything else? All I got to do, I can still do what I want, eat what I want, and I can get a shot, and I don't have to waste my time in a gym.
Yeah. Do you know how backwards that is? Do you know how backwards that is?
First off, here's the deal. There's so many health problems that come along with those shots that why would you risk that? Why would you risk your stomach not working? Why would you risk losing your eyesight? If you're not diabetic, why would you risk becoming diabetic? Just those 3 right there alone. And there's several other health risks related to it that is way more severe than what they're just putting out right now. Go do your research, look at the med information. It's posted on all the primary medical websites. It's not hard to find. Just nobody's putting it out there and the news isn't talking about it because there's too many celebrities that are pushing it right now.
And look.
And they keep changing the names. Yeah. Oh, we're not going to do this. It's going to be this peptide, blah, 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 blah. Or it's going to be the new, I forgot, it's just some funny name, but the new one is that they're calling it.
It's the same thing. Tirzepatide,
semaglutide. Same thing.
Here's the thing. And I have changed a little bit on this whole Ozempic, Mounjaro, the GLP-1s. I have changed a little bit.
But you still have to do your work because especially for women and the amount of bone density and muscle mass that we lose after the age of 35, it just continues to go downhill. Mm-hmm. And if you don't waste your time in the gym, then you're going to continue to go downhill. And if you're taking those kind of supplements that is making your body basically starve itself, then you're going to be malnourished because you're not getting the right nutrients that you need for your bones to stay healthy, for your muscles to stay healthy. Yeah. And all that's going to do, you're losing more than body fat. You're losing vital muscular tissue that keeps you strong and healthy. And especially, again, women are so more predisposed to those sorts of health problems after the age of 35. Why would you want to risk that, especially when you have children and you want to have grandchildren? I mean, I'm sorry, we've got 4 kids. And I understand that our kids are going to be scattered here and there because they're out doing their lives, and I'm so happy for them. But when we get the opportunities to travel and see our grandchildren in 20 years or whatever, because they're all staggered out, I want to be able to run around with them at 65 and 70 years old.
And not worried that I've lost 60% of my muscle mass because I decided to take a shot.
And I can't travel because it's too hard for me. And I'm having to live like, I don't want to live like that.
I have changed my stance on those GLP-1s a little bit. And here's how. If you weigh more than 500 pounds, and so morbidly obese,
Kickstarters.
yeah, and you just need a win on the board. You need like just something to let you know that your body can operate at less than 50,000 calories a day.
Well,
that is what they're for.
But those people are at less risk of the side effects.
Yeah, because
than the people who are healthy and have a few extra vanity pounds that they need to lose.
Yes.
Because your body's already operating as optimal as it's going to operate. People that are over 300 pounds, their body's already not operating at its optimal level. That is decreased.
And look, and doctors are starting to change on this too. And really good doctors are now prescribing the GLP ones more as a micro dose. Not just this. Now, there's still a lot out there that
you have good doctors and back doctors. Yes. There are doctors that are getting pushbacks and kickbacks from big pharma to push certain things, and they're getting their golfing trips, their country club memberships paid for. Be careful what your doctor does.
Yeah, but there's a way to do them. You can microdose them, and some of these doctors are now prescribing. You don't get the Ozempic or the GLP-1 unless you do resistance training to stop the muscle mass loss.
Good.
And that's great. But for the people that just need to lose the vanity pounds, there's all kind of health issues, and we still really don't know what all the health issues will be. But the body positivity movement went out of the door when Ozempic came along, when there was an easy button. And it's probably not going to be an easy button. So in 10 years, when all these stars are going, I can't do it anymore. I'm losing it. Yeah, fuck you. You know what you did. So all that being said, you have to cut the excuses from your life. If I gave you, whenever you turn 20, and I gave you one vehicle, I said, there's your car. That's going to be your car for the rest of your life. What kind of preventative maintenance would you do to that car? You would do everything. You would keep everything pristine, every oil change, every tire, everything. Newsflash, you get one of these things, one of these meat sacks. And that was one of the videos I did. You get one of these.
Yeah,
So why aren't you doing everything you can?
I'm not anal with my cars, you know that.
Yeah. Why aren't you doing everything you can to keep this functioning the way it should be, instead of letting those excuses creep in of, I don't have time, I have a job that works. Okay. My exact response was, what hours do you work? 9 hours a day. I'm gone for 9 hours a day. Oh, well, I'm a dumbass, but I can do math. 9 hours doesn't equal 24 hours. So you have time to get a workout in. And you have time not to shovel crap down your pie hole every 5 seconds.
Well, it's like people come to the gym. They're like, you're going to get me sexy. You're going to get me fit.
We are not.
And we're like, no, we're not. And then they'd look like we slapped them. And the famous thing that we like to tell them all the time is like, look, there's 24 hours a day. You're only here for one. We can help you and we can give you the building blocks, but you got 23 other hours to fuck it up.
Yeah, and they do. Because they let all these excuses come in.
One of the best excuses for me that just irks me a little bit is when people sign up to the gym, they might grace the doors 3 times in 6 months, and they'll call and be like, I need to cancel my membership. It's just not working for me. And we always do the same thing because we give away more free information. Like, some of you who don't know, when we do personal training, it's only $30 a session. Now, some people are going to go, wow, that's expensive. Call around to some bigger gyms. Most sessions are like $120, $200 and something. I know some trainers that charge $500 a session. And those are just run of the mill. These aren't trainers of the stars kind of people. These are everyday average people that have put in the time and the work and educated themselves to be able to help people. We genuinely want to help people because we know our area. We're in a very fixed income kind of place where the median household income is $30,000 to $45,000 a year for 2 working adults. Again, what's when we said, if we opened our business to get rich, we would not have done it at home. We'd have moved and went somewhere else. But we wanted to give something back to the community and try to help people. But when people use those excuses,
No, it's a slap in the face is what it is. It's a slap in the face because you don't have the discipline and the drive to fucking come in the doors. That's the hardest workout you'll ever have. Opening the front door of the gym. And here's the deal. I am not perfect. We own the place and I have to lay my clothes out every night, socks in my shoes, what I'm going to wear. I get everything together. I make I drink collagen and creatine on the way to the gym. I do all of that because if I leave myself one out, I will take it. I will take it.
Me asking you to come back to bed.
Yes, that. And this one over here, wake me up when you get up. Okay.
Okay. In all due defense, I was very consistent in getting up, and I never missed a day until I got sick.
Yes.
When I started getting sick in 23, everything just spiraled.
But here's the thing,
downhill.
though. You made at least 3 a week, even being sick.
2 to 3. And it might take me 2 hours to get would have been a 20-minute workout in.
We continued on with the way we were eating. We made some changes.
I wasn't eating enough red meats for going into menopause.
But there was that. We continued
and doing research, talking to doctors, reaching out on social media to other fitness doctors, and just be like, hey, what's your idea? And because I even tried to go into my OB. That was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
So.
But we continued to try and continued to get better. You even made progress over that time.
I did.
It was just very
until I
slow
crashed.
and hard, and then your body crashed.
I was building the muscle. I was starting to look like the waistline had trimmed in where I wanted it. My abs had come back from where we had bulked. And then when I crashed.
Yeah. And again, I don't want this to come off as we're being holier than thou, and we haven't used these excuses because we
have the same excuses everybody else does. We just don't afford ourselves
the luxury
80% of the time. 80%. 80-20 rule. You be 80% good and you can be 20% bad.
And so that's the whole point of this is if you let that demon, that excuse demon, come in and start ruling what you do, and then you surround yourself with people that feed that demon for whatever reason. They tell you it's fine. It's okay. You don't need to do that. You look good the way you are. You're great. You can have that piece of cake. It's just one piece of cake. It's not going to hurt you. Or you don't have to do that workout. Those workout people are crazy. If you surround yourself with those people and you let that demon in, you will find yourself cutting years off your life.
One of the business people that I follow on Instagram, he said a very inspirational thing, and he was mainly he was talking about entrepreneurs and people that are wanting to grow business and level up in life. But this I think falls for everything. So, Sorry, my phone sent up a message. I wanted to make sure Vixen wouldn't stop recording. So I think this falls for every part of life. Look around at the group of people you surround yourself with, whether it's in person or through social media, but look at the people that you interact with, the people that you talk to the most, people that you lean on the most. If you don't feel inspired by the actions of those around you, then you're with the wrong group.
Yeah, you're hanging out with the wrong group of assholes.
If right there is where you want to stay, and you want to continue on the path and the track that you are, then you're with your people. But if you're constantly complaining about, I don't have enough money, but you're around people that are spending frivolously, then you're always going to be spending frivolously. You're always going to be broke. If you're constantly complaining about not being fit or overweight or just unhealthy in general, and everybody you surround yourself is constantly telling you, or constantly stopping by fast food, hardly ever putting any real food in their mouth, constantly pounding 15 Mountain Dews every day. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry, I hate Mountain Dew. That is on the top of my list of don'ts. But it's just, if you're constantly surrounding yourself with people that are doing all the things you know you don't need to do, then you're going to stay in that circle spinning your wheels until you make a decision to change.
Yeah, it's your echo chamber, and then you're going to lose those people.
That is the one thing that nobody really ever talks about and prepares you for, is when you do start making those changes and start leveling up in life, whether it is financially or health-wise, you're going to lose people. Those people that you surrounded yourself with, that's always wanting to go to the bar on the weekend and drink and party and eat and all the pizza and the burgers and all the horrible food that you know you don't need to be eating for whatever your health reasons are. But you know if you go with them, you're going to drink just as much beer, just as much alcohol, have just as many sodas, eat a whole large pizza by yourself, and then you're going to stop by that Taco Bell or that Crystal and get the full snack pack on the way home. Because that's what you've always done. At a certain point, you've got to make a decision which road you want to go down.
Yeah, you're going to lose those people.
Which wolf are you going to feed?
Because you become a threat to them. And not a threat as in like a physical threat or anything like that. No.
You're changing.
Yes, you become a threat. They look at you and go, oh, he's changing. And
they feel guilty for the decisions they're not making.
And it makes them feel bad. And bless your heart. I hate it. And which goes back to where we started on this.
We've got several friends that we don't, we still communicate with them as far as like, if we see them out in public or social media. Hang out with them. But we generally don't hang out with them because there's always drama and we don't do drama. We fucking hate drama. Anytime, if every time you have a party and the cops are called, that is I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there. I'm going to give you 3 tries. After the third, not
going to be there.
Not going to happen anymore. If every time you go out and party, you're getting loosey-goosey drunk and you're hanging all over everybody and sticking your tongue down husband's ears that's not yours, at a certain point, I'm not going to deck you if it's my husband because I know you're drunk and it's not something that you would do whenever you're sober.
But we're going to distance ourselves.
But at a certain point, we're like, I'm not going to continue to deal with that disrespect, and I'm not going to continue to put my husband through that. Just I know he wouldn't allow us to continue to go somewhere where somebody else's husband was getting hands grabby on me. He might go ahead and deck them, depending on the circumstance, if I didn't get them first. But it's just that. And it's the same thing. If you got friends that are going to the bar and drinking all the time and you continue to make the decision, at a certain point you got to make the distance.
Yes. And so, like I said, bringing this back around to where we started. No, I'm not going to change how I do the videos. Actually, I'm probably going to double down on what I was doing. No, our gym does not foster a bullying culture. That's the other thing that got me fired up, and I'm just going to go on that for a few minutes, so just bear with me. One, we have worked really fucking hard to foster a culture in our building where everybody feels like it's a place where you can be and be yourself.
Which is an overwhelming response that we get from customers.
You can, and like I said, or like she said, overwhelming response. This is what we get. I signed somebody up today that said they wanted to be, her words, not mine, part of our culture in our gym.
That just warm fuzzies.
It does. And the fact that you use those little videos to say our culture, our gym is a bullying culture, and you scream at people because they're fat. Will I walk in that building if I haven't seen you in 6 months and go, damn, what's up, fat ass? You have to go to a place to get here? Yep, I sure will. I'll do it. And I'll laugh, and you'll laugh, because whenever I laugh, it's funny.
Okay, so our morning crew that we kind of work out with now, it's been dispersed a little bit because of a couple of life and schedule changes for some of us. But when it was our whole little crew, it got pretty ruthless there. Yeah. So we even had nicknames for each other, and one of them who ate like ass all the time, and he'd be like, "Oh, I didn't eat that much." And his wife is going, clean the whole plate.
I mean, we drove by one day and he's coming out of the donut shop with 2 dozen donuts. She's hanging out the window.
I know. And look, the funniest part is like, so sometimes this individual, you could always tell when he overate on the weekend because he'd get poofy. Now, I'm going to say what I called him. And we all thought it was hilarious. And it's not as over-exaggerated as what I'm going to say. So let me just go ahead and give you that disclaimer. But it was a look that he would get when he would get poofy. And so I called him. I was like, hey there, what's up, sugar tits?
And everybody laughed. But here's the thing.
Because you could always tell when he ate a bunch of donuts.
Yeah.
Because it would just...
He'd become a donut.
He would. He'd just poof all over.
But here's the thing. Everything we say in there, and everything we do for people in there. Now, will I go, hey, what's up, fat ass? Where you been? You know, did you have to Google a place to get here? Mm. My very, very, very next statement out of my mouth is...
Ask Will if his shirt's getting loose.
Yeah. My very next statement out of my mouth is, what happened? Where you been? Mm. What's going on? And then I will listen to all the excuses or all the reasons, if it's a reason. Like, I said that the other day, and the guy looked at me and went, hey, look, my mom got sick. Okay, well, that's a reason.
Do you need anything?
Is she better? Do you need some help? What's going on? Hey, I've even offered people, we do not have a babysitting service at the gym. We don't.
Ha.
And we don't for a reason. But I have babysit kids.
But they were people we knew well enough.
Yeah, so that
it wasn't just random.
No, there have been some that I've sat with and entertained so that mom and dad can get their workout in. Now, I'll let them know this is not a ongoing thing. And if it is, there's fixing to be commas and zeros. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like me after I get done with my workout and I'm waiting for you to finish with somebody that you were training, and Mark and them's daughter, like we'll sit there, she'll come over there. I was like, are you done? I'm like, I am, baby. Hop right up in my lap, get her little leapfrog tablet, and we sitting there playing Bluey games.
So we foster this culture. And what I absolutely will not put up with, and what I have told friends of ours, close friends of ours, fix your fucking face and stop mean mugging people.
Yeah.
I will not put up with that in our gym.
Our own friends. We have threatened to like, look, you're our friends, but we'll cut your key off. But, and look, it's just a thing, like, they don't mean anything by it, but they are very much in their own little world sometimes. And they're not intentionally meaning to mean mug somebody, but
their face has subtitles and they don't hide it.
Yeah.
And look, and that's fine. And those particular people have now gone on to, they go out of their way to help people in the gym. Mm-hmm. Out of their way. So the culture we have built is not a bullying culture. It's not a fat shaming culture. Well, maybe it's not. I think people need to be fat shamed, because whenever you're fat shamed and you look in the mirror and you go, whoo, damn, I did let myself go. That initiates a change, which goes back to me saying, I will be your bad guy. If what I put out there offended you to the point where you pissed off at me, but if you're pissed off at me and you make a change, congratulations, Hoss.
Okay. What he means by fat shaming, before we get a bunch of people trying to cancel us in all circumstances, one, yes, he will, just with our friends, we will 100% be as ruthless. Like, there is no gloves with all that. But in general, when he's talking about clients and stuff, it's not fat shaming, picking on somebody or going after them and bullying them, as some people like to think it is, or think that it is, even though they've never experienced it because they've never taken any of our invitations to come to our gym, although they repeatedly ask us for help.
There's that.
There's that. I can open the door, but I can't make you come in. That's our level of fat shaming. That's what it is. Like, if you want to ask, but I've given you an invitation, but you won't come in the door, I can open it all day long, but I can't make you go in. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
And we pay attention to our clients. Like,
Or people saying, I don't eat that much.
yeah.
And then they start talking about what they ate, and we're looking at them going, you're not eating that little if you're constantly gaining weight. Stop fucking lying to yourself. And what are you actually doing?
No, my line is, you can lie to me. That's fine. I don't care. But stop lying to yourself.
So that's what I tell them. Like, you asked for my help, and I can't help you if you're not going to tell me the truth.
Yeah. Or like I said, just last month, hey man, I'm eating in a calorie deficit and I don't understand why I'm gaining weight. Okay. Do you keep a food diary? Not really. I intuitively eat.
Intuitively.
Oh, really? So what you're saying is every time you feel one little hunger pain, you go and shove shit down your throat. Well, it's not that extreme. Okay, well, how do you know it's not that extreme if you're not keeping a food diary? But I eat good, man. I know I'm eating in a deficit. Okay, I am a moron. I'm a meathead moron, but I can do math. And if you're eating in a calorie deficit, you're not going to gain weight. It don't work that way. If you need 2,000 calories to live and you're eating 1,000, you're not going to gain weight. You're just not. You might look puffy. You might look fluffy. You might not look like a bodybuilder, but you're not going to gain weight.
Well, see, like that's
and
kind of,
that's what he was doing. And it's like,
that's the way it is with guys, because especially like labor guys, that they have so much going on during a day that they don't really take a mental account into what all they're eating and drinking during the day, because they may only be eating 2,000 calories, but they're drinking 4. And that never registers to them. Where we generally, with women, we have the opposite problem. They're not eating enough.
they're not eating enough.
And they're like, well, I don't eat that bad. I'm like, okay, well, how do you eat? And they lay it out. I'm like, something's not right. And it's not, again, lie to yourself, or lie to me, but don't lie to yourself. You're something's wrong and you got to figure it out. And that's the first thing we always tell people: keep a fucking food diary.
Yeah.
Like,
there's about 1,000 of them you can get for free.
or just write it down. Yeah. Like, it's old school. Keep a notebook with you. I keep 3 or 4 of these things running around here.
And here, she brought up blue collar workers. Here's the other excuse that really gets me going. Hey man, I work hard during the day. I work hard. Nah, bitch. You go to work for 8 hours.
Repetitive manual labor, and your body gets resistant to it. You're used to it.
And you're also human. You're going to figure out the easiest way to do something. You just are. If you do something more than once a day, you're going to figure out the easiest way to do it. And how many hours a day out of your 8 hours a day do you actually work? You take an hour lunch? Yeah, I take an hour lunch. Okay, what time do you get to work? I get to work at 7, but we don't really get started till 7:45. Okay, well, there's 45 minutes. So now you're an hour and 45 minutes. So you're at 6 hours of work. Do you just constantly work the whole day? Well, I mean, not really. We drive to the job site. And then once we get there, we have a meeting about what we're going to do and then how we're going to do it. And then there's 5 guys on the crew. So we all just kind of work together to make the day go by easier. So no.
You're not doing as much as you think you are.
Doesn't count.
Not negating that it's not hard work. Not negating that you're not exhausted and tired at the end of the day. I mean.
No, I'm not.
Let's use my ex-husband, for example, on that. When he's working, he's a hard-ass worker, and can't tell you how many times he'd come home and I'd look at him like, We had a back door next to the washer for a reason. Strip your clothes off right there, and then go get in the other shower.
I was a blue-collar worker for years. I started at 15, not counting the farm stuff I did.
Same thing, construction.
I started at 15
covered in mud, grease all day.
So I get it, but you're human. You're going to find out tips and tricks and easy ways to do stuff. If you don't, you're going to probably get killed. But so work doesn't count. You have to put where your body starts responding the best is when you get out of your comfort zone. Work becomes your comfort zone. Your body's not going to respond to that. It will for a little while. But then it gets accustomed to it.
You get used to it. It's just like a workout. If you do the exact same workout every day for 5 years and you go, I'm just not seeing any results. Well, when did you last see any changes? And it's usually within the first 6 months. I haven't seen anything since, the first year or, the first 6 months. It's been 9, 10, 12 months now. And I'm like, well, what routines have you done? Well, and they'll name off 5 different exercises. And I'm like, well, what else have you done? That's it.
Yeah.
They never changed their diet, and they never changed their dietary habits, their sleeping habits, or and just same 5 routines. I might, because I'm limited because of some of my physical issues with my knees and my hips and everything, I'm limited to some of the workouts that I can physically do. And of course, augmentation. Yeah. But I'll repeat some of the same workouts like the rows and the tri extensions and stuff like that. But I mix them up in different workouts. So I'm working the muscle groups in different ways, and I'm always doing supersets. So that way I'm trying to maximize primary and secondary muscles because I know I can't let my body get stagnant.
Yes, it's that comfort thing. Your body makes changes when you're outside your comfort zone. And that's with anything.
When I stop seeing a pump and I stop seeing growth or any type of changes, I'm like, or my knee starts hurting. Because I've worked on this amazing butt routine, but old lady knees don't like it.
Runner's knees, because you run like a psycho for years.
I did. I was a runner, and I have horrible, horrible legs. They look great.
No, you're psychotic when it comes to
that. But I have no cartilage in my knees and my ankles.
Because you was that person. I can do a mile. I can do 5 miles. I can do 10. Like, you were that person. Like, just more and more and more. More is better when it comes to running.
When I was in high school, the one thing I was good at was like really good at was I could run. I had really
Forrest Gump.
I have my brother started calling me Forrest Gump when we were in high school, and it stuck. So, like, he was at my track meet as I would go, run, Gump, run. I'm like, So, that being said, I was really good at running because I had these really, really large lungs. Like, that's the reason why I could stay underwater for as long as I could and give my mom heart attacks all the time when we would go snorkeling. But I was really good at that. And whenever I went to the academy, I wasn't a fast runner, wasn't fast at all, but I could get good enough to get faster than the person in the line.
And that has cost you cartilage in your knees.
It has cost me cartilage. Now, after the police academy, I wanted to see and push myself to peak performance that I could. And my goal was an 8-minute mile. Because I graduated the academy at like a 12:30 or something like that for the 1.5 miles. And I was like, well, if I'm doing that, I know I can do at least an 8. It took me a year and a half to peak that. But that was because in the academy, I broke my pelvic bone. So I had to let that heal up. But once I got fully released to start running again, that's what I did every day that I worked. And I did 2-a-day workouts. And I ran in the afternoons at the end of my shift every day, or morning, whatever the end of my shift was. And I can remember we was at the courthouse. It was me and Jeremiah. He's on the bike. And I was on the treadmill. And I'm over there running. And he saw me speeding up. And he saw this big smile flash on my face. And this is him. This is his version of the story. And he just stopped. And he just sat back and was looking. He said, "She about to do something. She about to do something." And he sat there and watched, and he said your feet kept getting faster and kept getting faster and kept getting faster. He said to the point they were just a blur. And had we had cell phone cameras, he would have been recording it. And he said the next thing, yes, and I'm jumping up and down, and he was like,
it was a goal, and you met the goal, and that's what I told you this morning when you picked that 100 up. if I could give people that,
100-pound dumbbell.
yeah, if I could give people that feeling of accomplishment,
So
and just give it to them when they first start the gym, and give it to them in a little dose, and I could show them this is what's
this is what
coming.
you can do. This is
This
the
is
feel
what's
good.
coming. You have to stick with it, though. You have to put your excuses.
To know you pushed yourself past your boundaries.
You got out of your comfort zone. You grew as a person. And I don't give, like, yeah, you're going to grow muscle and you're going to be aesthetically better looking than when you started. But I'm not even talking about that. Like,
Talking about health.
You knew there was something hard in front of you and you did it and you got better. If I could give people that, I don't think I would have to. We would be so busy, like it'd be full all the time, and it'd be great.
That's what we're shooting for.
And I'd love it. But people won't let that happen.
Might be able to open up another location.
Yeah, I know, which would be awesome. And I know we've ran it for a while, and it's, over an hour now.
So the significance of the 100-pound dumbbells, when we first opened the gym, going on almost 10 years now, almost the whole bottom row from 65, 70 up, I couldn't move. I couldn't move my own equiment in my own gym.
No, she's talking about the dumbbells.
The dumbbells,
she rolled
yeah.
them.
I couldn't even roll the hundreds.
No, you couldn't roll them.
Cade, how old was Cade at the time? 17?
Yeah.
He was 17? Yeah. He was still in high school. Cade was there, our son, and helping us move everything in. And now linebacker. So, big football player. So, he was a big hoss of a boy. And he got to laugh. He got so tickled laughing at me because I was on the ground with my butt pushed up against the 100 and pushing myself trying to roll it. He goes over there. He's like, give me that. And what do you think you were doing? I said, well, y'all were moving all the really heavy stuff. And he goes, and this must be pretty heavy. And I'm like, well, you're picking it up. But he made so much fun of me and got tickled with me over that. Yeah. Like, he would just walk over there. He's like, give me that. What are you doing?
But this morning, you picked it up and moved it.
I picked it up.
Like, picked it up. Not Granny picked it up and moved it. And again, not something you work out with, not something you use, not an implement you're ever going to do anything with.
Oh, I'm never going to work out 100 pounds.
But you was able to pick it up and move, like pick it up.
It's nice to know I can do what is necessary if it becomes necessary.
Yes.
Because, I mean, I have to be able to pick you up all the time.
And then she was so excited. And if I could bottle that or put that in pill form and give people just a little taste of that, it would be amazing. But people will not get out of their own way. They come up with every excuse not to do it. And I'm tired. And that's where these rants came from. And we're going to wrap it up. Because this one's kind of been all over the place.
Oh, it kept the chain.
Yeah.
It stayed on a track.
I'm tired of looking around in our community with the friends we've made in the community. I'm tired of looking around at my friends that I graduated with. I don't know if any of y'all know, I'm going to be 50 in December. So that means all them assholes are either 50 or turning 50. I'm tired of looking at them, the people in our community, and seeing people excuse themselves into shorter lives. And like I said on one of those videos that pissed somebody off, believe it or not, there are people that will miss them when they're gone, and they will regret not saying something to them. So if me saying, your family took it as a challenge to eat everything at the buffet every time y'all went, and that's why you're bigger.
Which some do.
If me saying that
hurt your feelings,
but sparks you,
made you feel some kind of way.
Yeah, and it sparks you to make changes, great. Because I feel like I've done my job. It's like, perfect analogy to end on. Would you let somebody, a good friend of yours, walk around with shit between their teeth, spinach between their teeth, smiling and grinning?
How about, here's a good one. If it's a lady that you know and she went to the restroom and her skirt got caught in her panties, would you let her walk around ass flying out all day?
Would you let them do that?
No,
you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. You'd go, hey,
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, fix yourself.
I won't even let a lady walk out of the restroom I don't even know has got toilet paper on her shoe, knowing it ain't hers.
No.
She just stepped on the way out.
No, you
Either way it
would.
goes.
No, if your friends and the people that are around you that care about you cannot say, hey, you're fucking up and it's going to cost you, without you getting offended, if you just want them to go, you're doing so good, you're going to be so great, it's going to be fine, eat that other piece of cake, it's fine.
We don't even
then you don't have friends.
Yeah, no, we don't even tell our children they're doing great when they're not. No, we praise them when they do, but I'm sorry. We're not going to fucking give out participation trophies. And if you're the type of individual who feels like they need a participation trophy, or you need to be catered to for your safe spaces because you've had a bad experience that was more than likely self-internalized issues that you projected into a situation from your own shortcomings, we're definitely not going to kiss your ass.
No.
We're not going to be mean purposely, but it's that old thing when people they come up to me in lives and they go, can I ask you a question? Sure, but remember, if you don't like the answer, you fucking ask the question.
Mm-hmm. So, like I said, to wrap this up, the videos, the little gym videos, they're funny. I'm going to try to keep them funny, but I'm also not going to pussyfoot around your feelings. And I'm going to end every one of them the same. And I mean this. And I think this is probably a good way to end this.
Mm-hmm.
Come to the gym, ask questions, surround yourself with better people, and let's all get better together.